Hi, everybody. I'm Gene Simmons. No, I'm Richard Simmons. And you are watching Vinyl Vagrants. Now get out of here.
All right, Vinyl Vagrants back. Chuck, John, and today we're reviewing The End of the Road. Where'd we catch Kiss?
United Center, Chicago, Illinois.
March 2nd, just a few weeks ago, was a great experience.
It was.
I had the pleasure of taking my 11-year-old son. Not only was it his very first concert, but obviously it was Kiss. So
which is amazing.
You know, I just felt really good about whenever the rest of his life when people ask him, "Hey, what was the first concert you saw?"
What was your first concert?
Oh, Kiss was my second concert. First concert I ever went to, The Temptations and the Four Tops.
Oh, it beats the Osmonds.
Yeah, true.
Mine was actually Kiss.
Yeah.
Easter Sunday, the Asylum tour.
Yeah, Kiss was the second concert I went to, the Crazy Nights tour. That was the second show that I saw.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Still a good show.
Oh.
At the Radisson, that's now been torn down since.
Yes. The stadium is no longer there. But anyway, really looking forward to this show. A lot of hype about this show, some positive, some negative. I remember when the tour was announced, all the negativity online.
It became too much.
And just about, from the band members who were playing, to Paul singing, to just, all kind of things. But I will say, there was a round table discussion from music critics that I heard on Sirius XM radio. And there were two critics who were definitely very supportive in the End of the Road tour for Kiss. And then there were two that were kind of slamming it. And I will say that the two that slammed it, this was their reasoning. Their reasoning was that the End of the Road tour was no big deal because Kiss has been doing the same show for the past since the original reunion farewell tour.
Yeah.
And you know what? That is what caused a lot of the negative hype. People say they already had a farewell tour. And of course, if you're a Kiss fan, you're like, no, that was not a farewell tour. That was a farewell for the original lineup, which, for some people might be like splitting hairs, but for Kiss fans.
Yeah, we enjoyed the fact that they kept going.
There was a clear difference. Yeah. Right. But anyway, so these critics made it a point to say that the reason why the End of the Road tour was nothing special was because Kiss has continued to go out and play the same show, meaning play the same songs, the same set list for the past couple decades. And if that is their take, I kind of have to agree with them. They do have a solid point there. They went on to say that, some of the members of Kiss have Paul Stanley has made it a fact that nobody's interested in new albums. Nobody buys albums anymore. They kind of attacked him for that, saying he's basically saying, look, we can't make money out of making more new music, so why should we make it? They're twisting his words a little bit like that. But anyway, all criticisms aside, I did not spoil anything for myself online.
No.
I did not look at set lists. I did not watch YouTube videos. I just went in there knowing that I was going to celebrate,
Kiss, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just as important for you to celebrate with your son.
Yeah.
Who's never been exposed to that type of environment before. I mean, talk about sensory overload for an 11-year-old. Yes. Probably didn't know what hit him after the show was over with. But it was a great show. And to your point, a lot of rhetoric about Paul and his voice. He sounded great, thankfully. We've been to dozens of concerts together for Kiss, and there have been shows where he struggled. Yeah. This show, he was on his game. It was good. Sound-wise, the band sounded amazing, right? Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer are very proficient musicians. They're not going to make any mistakes. When we saw him with Ace or we saw him with Peter. You know, kind of the cool thing about Ace Frehley is that he kind of had that Keith Richards feel. You know, it's kind of a little bit sloppy in his playing sometimes, and a little bit dizzy. You know, up on stage, but that's why we love him. But you know, Gene sounded great. You know, you think of the set. They played 20 songs, of which 9 of them were from the first album and Destroyer.
Okay.
I think 5 songs from Destroyer, 4 songs from Kiss, and then I think they had 2 songs from Creatures of the Night, and the rest of the set list was just like one song from every other album, with the exception of some of our favorite albums like Crazy Nights. Nothing from Crazy Nights. Nothing. A lot of the non-makeup era was kind of overlooked, which I think is a touch point for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, again, here's the thing. You know, they have such a catalog. You know, a long and diverse catalog. And when you go on tour for a farewell tour, I feel you owe it to your fans to kind of celebrate your history, and for them to ignore Crazy Nights, Hot in the Shade, and Revenge, especially Revenge. Yeah. Just to take a big chunk of your history and just toss it aside. I wasn't happy with that. You know, before any show started and the announcement was made, you know, I thought, well, wow, they could go out and they could play, you know, different songs for different cities. You know, kind of swap things out, like
for bootleg CDs or video.
Right. I mean, for as that would give fans a chance to collect the shows. Hey, you know, in New York they played this, in Chicago they played that. But again, I don't know. You know, look, their production is so over the top and orchestrated. Maybe it's too hard to balance all these new songs with the lights and the movements and all the things that go, you know, they're not just a band, like they say, they're not just a band that gets up there in t-shirt and jeans and strums the guitar. And so it does make varying their set list, I think, a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
And all of the effects that go with each song. But you know, for Gene, for example, he played Calling Dr. Love, which I was so happy to hear. I was excited that was included in the set list. And then he played God of Thunder, War Machine, and I Love It Loud. And to me, those are 3 Gene staples, and I was really happy to hear War Machine. Mm-hmm. But you know, when you add all those songs up, they're kind of, I Love It Loud, God of Thunder, War Machine are kind of the same song. Yeah. Like it's a big chunk where he's singing the same type of song anyway. I would like to see him swap some out. Unholy is one that I really miss.
They should swap that with Lick It Up. So tired of Lick It Up live.
But what I'm saying is, like, Lick It Up isn't necessarily a Gene song.
No, I know, but they could have thrown in an extra Gene song and take it. And I know that's like, you know, blasphemous, you know, for a lot of people out there who love the Lick It Up song. But for me, just, you know, Rock and Roll All Night is understood. But Lick It Up, I could have easily done without, though they do some cool stuff where they add in little Zeppelin.
I love the interlude of Lick It Up. Lick It Up to me is one of the highlights. In fact, I'm not a guy who videos the show. I don't hold my phone up and watch. But I actually filmed Lick It Up just for that little guitar interlude they do in the middle with all light. I thought that was a very cool effect.
Right, so the one song I wanted out, you enjoyed.
Yes. Well, the one song I think everybody wanted out was...
Say Yeah.
Say Yeah.
From Sonic Boom had the least
when they played that
reaction.
Wow, you know, because and again, in interviews, Paul has said he's been... He said, oh yeah, the diehard fans, sure, they want us to play this or that, and then we play it, and 90% of the stadium sits on their hands. Right. Well, I don't think that's necessarily accurate. I don't think he's giving the credit that Kiss fans deserve. I think that crowd in the United Center, I would say probably, my guess, 60-40, 60% diehard Kiss fans, maybe 40% just general fans.
Yeah, because Paul asked that question.
Who wouldn't know what's happening.
Yeah.
But you know, the one new song they play, that's you know, like you say, it did not go over well. It just sucked the energy out of the concert. So from his standpoint, when
Thankfully, it was early though.
yeah, it was like the third or fourth
It was
song.
the fourth song. Yeah.
When he says that, he has a point, but I don't think you're going to get that reaction if you play an old gem from one of the from the Makeup albums.
Yeah.
You know, I think you're going to get they're playing, you know, like Love Her All I Can't, Love Her All I Can't. Yeah, wow, I never thought I'd hear
I'd be
this,
going
you
nuts
know,
if they
people
played
would go
that song.
crazy. You know, just, you know, something like that. But you know, like I say, I maybe instead of say yeah, I would have preferred Hide Your Heart.
Yeah, or Crazy
Or,
Crazy Nights. I think the arena
Nights.
would have gone nuts if they played
Yes.
Crazy Crazy Nights.
Yes, and then or anything off Revenge. But
Yeah.
you know,
Totally.
and you know, hopefully as the tour goes on, I know they're going to Europe. They're gonna play different songs out there. Maybe they'll bring some of those back when they come back to the States. They always seem to take more chances in Europe with their set list and play the songs diehards want to hear, because those songs maybe were more successful overseas.
Yeah, like Crazy Nights was a huge hit for them
Right.
back in '87. So, and I think for me, yeah, I mean the show was great. They sounded great. It was everything that you would want a Kiss show to be. Just us had seen them so many times before, and knowing that the set list is generally pretty safe, it would have been cool just to hear a couple of nuggets, like the last one of the tours that we saw in Grand Rapids, Michigan, when they played Flamin' Youth. That to me was like a special treat.
Yes,
You know,
that
those
was
are the
great.
type of nuggets that I just love hearing, even though, you know, it was a relatively popular song for Destroyer. When they played it, I was like, oh my God, this is great. You know,
Yeah.
I can't believe this. This is my childhood right here.
Yeah, and again, you mentioned earlier about how Paul sounded great. That doesn't mean he didn't struggle.
Right.
Like there, I mean, look, he was giving it his all, and for the most part, he can't hit the notes like he used to, and there were some songs where he still attempts it though.
Yeah.
He still and you know the voice would crack and things like that, but then the you know, he would stop and then he would bring it back down a little bit and recover. And yeah, there were no moments for me was like, oh man, this isn't, you know,
Sounded good.
And the general consensus from what I've seen online from other people who've gone to the shows and things like that is that yeah, they're delivering the goods.
Yeah,
So,
and it sounded as live as it could. And then, Chuck, I know you wanted to share one other thing too.
oh yeah,
Really
yeah.
cool.
If there's one thing you're gonna grab from the tour, you know, you may see there's a few versions of this. The Chicago show, we got the second version, and you can tell what version you have by the concert photos that are placed right here. And I guess this is the page that they'll be changing as the show goes across the country. But you know, the history of the photo and the band's
Very cool.
touring history. It's just a beautiful book. And you know, I don't know how you feel about $50 T-shirts and all the stuff that they sell. There was an awesome Creatures of the Night anniversary shirt. If there was one shirt I was gonna buy, it probably would have been that. I hope they make it available online. But this was my one purchase, and this is outstanding.
Yeah, and we'll probably check them out. I think they're coming in Indianapolis in August, so we're looking at that. And we know that they're going to do a 2020 trek. We know there'll be one last run, maybe not Chicago, but maybe Milwaukee, or you know, maybe Moline or something like that, something local. Maybe we can take a road trip to Cleveland or something. But we'll definitely see them one more time for this end of the road tour.
Yeah.
But it was a great show.
Yeah, great show. If you're on the fence, although I don't know how you could be on the fence,
If you're a Kiss fan, you're missing
I don't
out.
understand how a guy like Eddie Trunk, who's basically built half his career about talking about Kiss. I mean, look, he talks about it on his show.
Yeah.
Every call I get is about Kiss. I'm tired of talking about it. Well, you know, look, I don't know. He's just bitter. They won't talk to him. They won't come on his show. They won't interview. Look, I don't know what his problem is, but you can't have that mentality. This is it. Go celebrate the history of the band. You won't regret it.
You won't. And for me, oddly enough, I think I spend more time watching Gene and Paul because they are Kiss. But Tommy and Eric did a great job.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, come on. If Eric hasn't earned your respect by now,
he's
I
phenomenal.
mean, yes. I mean, yeah. I think he's just as much
He's as
a
deserving
part of the
as anyone.
family. Yeah. All right. So I guess that's
That brings it to a close for us. We just want to share our thoughts about the end of the road with you, our friends out there. Let us know what you thought in the comments below, and thanks for checking us out.
All right.